Welcome to the show. Today is the Hope Overload. I will discuss why my analysis on Pompeo 2024 is a real possibility that comes after he tweets out a countdown for the next presidential election. Then we discuss the DC National Guard's troops being forced to sleep in garages. Then we finish off today with a look at the impeachment of Biden filed by Representative Marjorie Greene. Our first topic today is my analysis on why Mike Pompeo might run for president for 2024. The GOP, after this election, basically faced a total loss. They lost both chambers of the Congress, they lost the presidency, and they lost the trust from the people. In particular, there are a few missions that the party needs to achieve by 2024 to have any chance of getting their victory back. President Trump, though he left office, he is actually still governing in a different form of government, the people. Soon, by the actions of Biden, more people will realize how great it was under Trump. I am not discrediting the fact that Trump 2024 is a very big possibility, or in fact, it could be Trump-Pompeo 2024, but what I want to say is these 4 years is the revenge for what they did to Trump. But there is a reason. If they actually impeach Trump and convict him of some charges on crimes, then he won't be able to run for office again. Let's talk about the first mission for the GOP. They need to establish a House and Senate majority by 2022 during the midterm primary election. During this November's election, the GOP was slated to win the Senate majority and at least hold Biden accountable in his decisions. However, due to the series of backstabbing against Trump and the manipulation in the votes, the GOP lost majority in both chambers. During the midterm election in 2022, the GOP needs a clear direction as to who they want in and who they want out. And I am afraid it isn't even up to the politicians themselves anymore. It's going to be up to the people who vote. Those who backstab Trump can be expected to take a hit at the polls. As Lou Dobbs tweets, the backstabbing may lead to the formation of a Patriot Party. I will go deeper on this later. That leads me to the second mission. The Senate GOP needs new leadership. There is no question about it. Mitch McConnell has shown he is not capable of leading the GOP in the Senate. There needs to be a new alliance and a new leader that actually is going to be working for the people. Again, this time, I think people will awake to his personal greed and the backstabbing that occurred. And the third mission is to dedicate to winning back the presidency. Whether Trump runs again or not, there's a problem. He will only be able to run for another term, just 4 years, this is where we're at now. In the GOP caucus, there actually doesn't seem to be any strong leadership that can cover the entire country. Let me quickly list a few. We might have Ted Cruz, who ran back in 2016. We have Josh Hawley, but maybe too young. We have some calling for Governor DeSantis of Florida to run, possible. But these, all compared to Trump, don't seem to have that much popularity and charisma. So the GOP has to choose somebody who have shown that their actions really fit the support for the people. Because I highly doubt that anyone would make it very far unless they showed some serious dedications during the Trump's era. Because what has happened now is that the MAGA movement has taken and really awakened people to come to know what it means to be American. So really, this next election is going to be about revenging what they did to Trump. They need a strong candidate. So I think Mike Pompeo is actually the most fitting candidate to run. Here are a few reasons. First, Pompeo was, I believe, the earliest cabinet member to actually call and affirm that there will be a second term for Trump. It shows that he is truly dedicated to working with the president. President Trump tweeted that he praised Mike Pompeo after he came out with the support for the president. Pompeo has an extensive list of work history in Washington, most recently as Secretary of State, working for U.S. in international relationships, and as the highest cabinet member, he was previously the director of CIA and has experience with foreign intelligence. Before that, he served as a congressman from 2011 to 2017, representing Kansas. Pompeo graduated top of the class at West Point. He was at the rank of captain before he left the U.S. Army. So he is no stranger to Washington, but what made him different was actually his stance on China. I believe Pompeo's policies align very well with that of Trump, both economically and politically. However, Pompeo is actually a clear-cut critic of China's human rights abuses and its related religious persecution against various religion groups. Pompeo openly criticized the CCP's many abuses against Xinjiang Uyghur Muslims, Tibetans, Buddhists, and Falun Gong practitioners. In fact, I think Pompeo might be the only person aside from Trump who is not scared to go against China on more than just economic wars. Pompeo, during his last few days as the state secretary, he had been tweeting out the slogan "America First" every morning. This idea isn't new. It's been around since at least World War II. It's the idea that America must be considered for its own sake of flourishing before helping other countries. This idea has been hidden for so long under the Obama and the Bush's administration that Americans seems to have forgotten what it means to be America first. Until Trump came out and decided to make America great again. So Pompeo using America first is the perfect campaign slogan to continue Trump's legacy and his journey. In this tweet, he says he will never stop fighting for the American people. What made me even more sure is his tweet here, counting down 1,384 days, which is in 4 years from now for the 2024 election. The second reason is how much Trump would support him. Pompeo is Trump's international handyman. He is the foreign diplomat, so Pompeo is what Trump's international policies really represent. Thus, I expect him to continue the same American first principles, leaving big organizations like the WHO, the Paris Agreement, and such, but I actually think he will be tougher on China than Trump was. The difference is that Pompeo has worked with at the intelligence bureaus, the military, and foreign relationship bureaus. He has actually more experience than Trump in these areas as well. But there's actually one more factor at play here. Politics is all about finding your opponent's scandals. Remember what they did to President Trump in 2016? Well, Pompeo has been all about being a family man and being religious, so he really doesn't have much to get attacked on, other than maybe his work history. But then again, in 4 years, at the current state we're going at, who knows if the Democrat will be too embarrassed to talk about their own work history or bring this country right now to ruins. The third reason is the support from Trump's era. Think about this. Trump in 4 years really dug out who were the swampy monsters and who were his loyal allies. It turns out, surprise, surprise, it were the younger guys and the girls that were the most loyal to him. Kayleigh McEnany, Christopher Miller, Ezra Cohen-Watnick, Kash Patel, Pompeo, all young in terms of age compared to the rest of the Washington. Now, this calls for renewal of energy and a generational change in political mindsets. So you can almost bet that if Trump endorses Pompeo, his entire administration, hard hitters like Defense Secretary Miller, the Pentagon, the administration side will also be helping Pompeo. This would actually be no different than Trump term 2 or term 3 or even 4. Now, I want to explain to you the under-the-table balance of power in the United States right now. Just after Trump left, we can already tell that there is an internal clash between two power bases. It used to be GOP versus the Democrats, but now it's actually the swamp versus the people. So let's talk about where we're at with the US climate for politics. States like Texas, Florida are going to be the power base for the new movement. Texas has shown repeatedly, just within the last few months, that they will not stand for any attempt by the Biden administration to rob the Texans. Just today, Attorney General for Texas, Ken Paxton, tweeted that he will not stand to any wrongdoings by the Biden administration. Same with Florida. Governor DeSantis has shown that he will not stand against attacks on the Floridians. Trump has now made Florida his home base, and Texas is where all the military power will come in. Let me talk about why. We know this election, most likely they tried very hard to take down Florida, as it is a swing state. Despite the manipulation, they still couldn't flip it blue. This just shows you how deep the support for Trump is down there. President Trump has been reportedly thinking about starting the Patriot Party. So if that actually happens, there will be a three-party system in the US. Now, this power formation from the southern states for we the people is going up against a corrupted Washington. If so, this will form a new age. Now, why does it matter to have a balance of power right now? Because we saw so much happen because of rhinos and backstabbing than actually Democrats themselves making it hard for Trump. Those in the GOP who support Trump, though, will likely migrate to the Patriot Party or whatever the party name is, not even considering that 80 million Americans will be voting for the Patriot Party. This is why Politico reported that the GOP is anticipating Ivanka Trump running for Florida in Congress. Now imagine if Pompeo Ivanka Trump was a real deal in 2024. That would crush anyone else who wants to win in the primaries. So whether it's a Patriot Party or the GOP in 2022 and then in 2024, they better have a plan to back up the majority. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. This is all on the ground that the next two elections are actually going to be carried out without the F word. Now, in 4 years, we most likely will not have the virus anymore, and thus mail-in ballot cheating won't be a thing. Or maybe it's still there, who knows. So they will be a lot more careful with how they cheat. But this also means if Pompeo really plans to run, using the evidence and the intelligence they have gathered, they must have a plan ready. So only if elections are really going to happen without cheating, because otherwise, well, goodbye. As well, top Trump advisor and former spokesperson Jason Miller says Trump has a number of goals over the next couple of years, winning back the House and the Senate for Republicans in 2022 to make sure that they can stop the Democratic craziness. Before we go on, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. We have been demonetized by YouTube, which means we can no longer place ads on this video, and thus, if you want to support us, we do have a donation link in the description box below. Let's go into our second topic today. Democrats and Republicans in Congress don't agree on much these days, but putting National Guardsmen out in the cold quickly brought the politicians together. Thousands of Guardsmen who have been protecting the Capitol complex for more than 2 weeks since January 6th were told yesterday by the U.S. Capitol Police to pack up and move out of the area they were guarding. The Guardsmen were sleeping and resting at various points around the U.S. Capitol, including in congressional office facilities and the Capitol Visitor Center. The removal order meant retreating into nearby cold, unheated parking spaces and elsewhere outside whenever Guardsmen took breaks from their 12-hour duties. Many faced a cold night in facilities without adequate heating, electrical outlets, internet reception, or even bathrooms. The words of the Guardsmen's polite spread quickly in the early evening thanks to in part to a news story in Politico, with multiple members of Congress registering their concern and springing into action. The USCP are under the direct control of congressional leaders, including Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. Senator Tammy Duckworth, an Iraq war veteran who lost both legs when a rocket-propelled grenade struck the U.S. Army helicopter she was piloting, tweeted this: "Unreal. I can't believe that the same brave service members we've been asking to protect our Capitol and our Constitution these last 2 weeks would be unceremoniously ordered to vacate the building. I am demanding answers ASAP. They can use my office." Troops were asked back into the warmer areas, including the office and the indoor spaces. Representative Madison Hawthorne delivered pizza to troops in the garage in a tweet. Duckworth wasn't alone. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy went into action as soon as he heard of the order to the Guardsmen. At 9:40 p.m., he tweeted a photo of the troops in a parking garage and asked Speaker Pelosi and Majority Leader Schumer, why are American troops who are tasked with keeping security at the Capitol being forced to sleep in a parking lot? They deserve to be treated with respect, and we deserve answers. As well, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, tweeted, "Yeah, this is not okay. My office is free this week to any service members who would like to use it for a break or take a nap on the couch. We'll stock up on snacks for you all too." Florida Governor Ron DeSantis recalled the National Guardsmen back to Florida following this event. Same with, as well as Governor Greg Abbott of Texas also recalled their own troops as well. President Trump has supposedly allowed troops to use the Trump Hotel nearby. It's impeachment season, I guess. Let's talk about it. Our last topic today. Newly elected Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene on January 21st announced she has introduced articles of impeachment against the new president, Joe Biden. The articles of impeachment concerns Biden's alleged actions involving a deal in Ukraine and allegedly abuse of power by allowing his son, Hunter Biden, to siphon off cash from America's greatest enemies, Russia and China. Greene's office announced in a statement just a day after Biden was sworn in as the 46th U.S. president. The statement says, President Joe Biden is unfit to hold the office of presidency. His pattern of abuse of power as President Obama's vice president is lengthy and disturbing. President Biden has demonstrated that he will do whatever it takes to bail out his son, Hunter, and line his family's pockets with cash from corrupt foreign energy companies. And in an event in 2018, Biden said that in 2016, he had threatened to withhold $1 billion from an aid to Ukraine unless then-President Petro Poroshenko fired Viktor Shokin. Shokin at the time was investigating Burisma, an energy company in Ukraine which Hunter was a board member from 2014 till at least 2018. The New York Post last year obtained emails and messages from a laptop allegedly belonging to Hunter Biden, allegedly showing that he had tried to arrange a meeting between himself, his father, and a top executive at Burisma. Both Bidens have denied that a meeting took place, with Joe Biden saying that the story by the outlet was another smear campaign. Mitch McConnell, the now Senate Minority Leader, says Biden's administration took steps in the wrong direction on Biden's first day in office. He says the president re-entered the failed Paris Climate Agreement, a terrible bargain that would set us up to self-inflict major economic pain on working American families with no assurance that China or Russia would honor their commitments. In fact, the US has already been reducing carbon emissions while China and other nations in the agreement have kept increasing theirs. Rejoining will just set us up to kill the American jobs while our competitors continue to roar on by. He also says the president also unilaterally canceled the Keystone XL pipeline. The day one priority for Biden, I guess, was to kill thousands of American jobs, including union jobs, disappoint the strong ally in Canada, and reverse some of the progress toward energy security. This is a project that the Liberal Canadian government and the Prime Minister Trudeau support, an investment in North American energy. Even the Obama State Department concluded it would not harm the climate. But because canceling a pipeline project just feels like the green thing to do, the new administration killed these jobs. As well, the 1776 Commission's first and unfortunately the last report, despite being banished by the Biden administration, will endure because it upholds the founding principles of the United States. In one of his first actions as president, Joe Biden dissolved the 1776 Commission and tossed out what's known as the 1776 Report just 2 days after its publication. The Biden administration claimed in a press release Wednesday that the commission has sought to erase America's history of racial injustice. Now, why would you want to erase the culture and basically what started the republic? Doesn't make sense. Also, the Senate presented the impeachment of President Trump today. Former Trump advisor Peter Navarro says if the push to convict President Donald Trump after he was impeached isn't stopped by President Joe Biden, then Biden can forget about trying to unify the country. If Biden is not able to keep Democratic congressional leaders from backing down from trying to gut Donald J. Trump, forget about unity. His next words are really true. He says, "That's gone. That's off the table. This will be a 50-50 country. The gap between us will be a chasm. There will be nothing but friction." Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said that the House's article of impeachment will be delivered to the Senate on Monday, triggering the start of the Senate's impeachment trial of President Donald Trump. So this will be a focus for us to cover next week. What will be the people's reaction to this then? Well, that they put on an unfair impeachment trial against President Trump. We'll have to see and pay very close attention to this. And that is it for today. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Before we go, YouTube has unfortunately decided to demonetize our channel, which means we will no longer have advertisement on this channel and cannot receive any donations via the super chat. YouTube says we must change our content policy to reapply for monetization. Therefore, we appreciate if you support us via our donation link in the description below. We will continue to work hard to provide you with very good content. In any case, we disappear from YouTube, you can find us at the following places. We also upload videos to Rumble and YouMaker. We also have an email newsletter link to sign up to stay up to date on this channel. To stay connected, follow our social media page on Twitter and on Parler if it ever comes back. We're also on Telegram and Tel. Thanks for your continued support of Beyond the Noise. Have a good evening.